as John was telling you, Art's been to my store. He's been to my store several times. John's been to my store. Have you guys ever visited Living Out Marine?
Yes.
Okay, you have been. Sweet. So thank you for supporting us. It makes a big difference because we know there's a lot of other players out there, and other players. You're right. Have a cornucopia of stuff. Have a lot of good stuff, and every once in a while when I can't find it, I go to those guys. So, especially if I need something in a pinch. But a lot of times, if I need something in a pinch and they can't get it to me, I just buy it right out of my store. So that's the nice thing about having Living Out Marine being a full service shop. We also work on Minn Kota, Motor Guide, Lowrance, Hummingbird, all the different bass boat lines we carry, and then we work on Skeeter and Triton and Ranger and everybody else's. So, I kind of want to preface it tonight because I asked John what he wanted me to specifically talk on, and we originally started talking about Topwater, right? We started talking about that a little bit, and which I'll go over tonight. And then I asked him where his next tournament was, and he said St. Clair. So how many guys have fished St. Clair here? So you guys all except John is like maybe, right? So St. Clair is one of those tannic lakes. It's black, but it is clear too. And as you guys know, you can ski on one side of the lake, and you can pretty much, and you can fish on both sides, but the one side of the lake is all skiers, and I try to stay away from that. The neat thing about St. Clair is it has a lot of different cover. And as you guys know, it has docks, it has laydowns, it has brush piles, it has some lily pads, right? And it's got a lot of those log boom style pieces of wood. So it sets up a lot like 10 Mile down in Oregon, just outside of Reedsport. Black colored lake, tannic lake, lots of docks, lots of log boom, stuff like that. How do you fish St. Clair? You can fish it pretty much however you want to do it. And it's a nice lake to fish. I send a lot of people down there from my store who are amateurs that want to learn how to bass fish and try different baits. So for me, St. Clair is, man, like I said, everything. I mean, you can fish topwater, and I'm going to kind of go over the topwaters I got. I only really brought one. And it's a frog. I throw a frog a lot. My favorite frog, and actually favorite frog for the entire state, is the Spro King Daddy. And I don't know if you guys have ever found a frog that size, but that frog works everywhere in the state. It works really well on the weekend. It works really well on Banks Lake and potholes. And this thing is a giant bait.
Yeah, it weighs an ounce. One entire bait weighs an ounce.
I can't get it out there, but that's a big frog. A lot of people get intimidated by a big frog, but I don't, because you can have a 2-pounder. A 2-pounder will swallow that whole. So it's a pretty common frog. You can do a lot of different things with your frog. You can walk it. You can skip it. You can skip it a mile underneath brush. Of course, I've got it all tangled up here, so it was in one of my rod boxes. But one of the things I always try to do with my frog is a lot of times I'll throw it just like that right out of the package with the longer tails. Other times when they're hitting it short, what I try to do is actually I'll take about an inch of that off, inch and a half of that off, which actually makes it walk more, just like that. If they're short striking it or not really getting the bait, I'll actually bend those 2 hooks up. But as you see, that bait will crush pretty easily when a bass grabs it. And like I said, if they're not really taking it really good, then I'll bend these way up. It really depends on where I'm throwing it. If I'm throwing around brush or if I'm skipping under docks, stuff like that. But that frog gets eaten quite a bit. And most of the time when they eat that frog, the only thing you'll see up here is basically the hook in its mouth, because the frog is way up here or vice versa. So don't hesitate to throw a big frog. It's called the Spro King Daddy. We sell a ton. We sell a ton because they catch a lot of big fish. So that's one of the things I'd throw at St. Clair. I'd start off right off the first thing in the morning. If you get cloud cover on St. Clair, I would throw it from sun up to sundown. It's that good.
Sign language, they don't understand that.
Yeah, I mean,
somebody shut him up.
Well, because there's a lot of people have this preconceived notion that a frog is really only good in pads or grass or matted vegetation. I mean, a frog is good in open water. Skipping underneath docks if you've got control of your spool. Of course, you can use a spinner rod, but you don't have the backbone. So that's why I opt for 7.5 foot, 7-10 foot rod. I use it usually as frog rods, what I do. So, frogs work really well on St. Clair. any of your topwater baits, your pop-Rs, of course, your chug bugs, whopper plopper. That's the only bait I can't get, is the stinking whopper ploppers. I can't get those for whatever reason.
That's his go-to.
There's just like a limited amount of supply of the plop.
He's got them all.
Tackle Warehouse has got them all, or I don't know. But anyway, and then going a little further, and I only brought 4 rods today, and the reason I brought 4 rods, these are 4 rods I would actually fish on St. Clair. And the other thing is a swim jig, and this swim jig bait has been extremely effective.
Who invited this guy?
There's some good hooks, man. You can't get them
Oh
off.
no, I can't even get them off the darn. There we go. It's a swim jig, and it's, of course you guys see a locally made bait
Fisher Brothers.
by Fisher Brothers called the Skullfish.
Yeah, they're sponsored us.
This is a phenomenal product, and as you guys know and throwing it, there's about 5 different ways you can throw a skullfish. You can throw a Texas rig, you can put it on a drop shot, a swim jig, you can flip it, you can even punch it, or you can just throw it weightless. That's the neat thing about the skullfish. I mean, there's so many ways to throw it and use it. I like it particularly on the back of a swim jig. And I tell you what, there's a lot of tournaments being won on swim jigs in the last 2 or 3 years. And it doesn't make a difference what lake you're throwing, whether it's on St. Clair or whether it's on Coeur d'Alene or Potholes. There's been a lot of money won on a swim jig. Colors, I pretty much stay with the summer patterns. I do the perch colored baits. I will throw black and blue occasionally. It really depends on the water clarity, but I pretty much stick with a lot of browns or green pumpkins.
3/8.
Yeah, 3/8 is my number one size. I'll go as light as quarter and 5/16, but it really depends on the fall. Your quarter and 5/16 will fall a little bit slower, but a lot of times they want it quick, and other times they want a really, really slow fall. Like in late summer, like in August. In August, I'll go down to quarter. They want it really slow.
I notice you have that nose, so do you adjust that depending on how they're biting?
I do. Sometimes I'll bear it way back here, but the majority of the time they inhale the entire bait. And the neat thing about a swim jig is if you do have a situation to where you have to pitch and flip, or let's say you're going along the shoreline with a bunch of wood and you're actually casting it in the wood, don't be afraid to cast this in the wood. Sure, you'll get it hung up every once in a while, but the majority of the time when you pop it off, that's when they eat it because it's a reaction. So that's most of the time how I use it. I throw it out and I use it just like a Texas rig. Most people throw a swim jig, they throw a swim jig out and they just reel it in. You can fish it that way, but I find more bites when you throw it out, you work it like a Texas rig, let it go all the way to the bottom and just work it back. Really, really, real slow. If they're really aggressive, they'll hit it the minute you pop it off cover. And occasionally you'll do that, like Potholes, I do that a lot in Potholes. I just pop it right off cover and they eat it. Other times they want it, just swimming. Now if you have, for example, a flat with a pad field, I'll throw it out there and that's when I'll swim it. I'll actually just swim it through the pads. That works really well on Lake Coeur d'Alene, for example. You got a big pad, and you got big pads like that. I don't know if St. Clair has those. I haven't seen big pads on St. Clair in a while. They've got mostly dollar pad fields, and that bait's not a good bait for dollar pads. That's what I'd rather throw the frog for dollar pads. But for big pads like that, and you have little voids between them, that's when I throw a swim jig. So it's a really good versatile bait. And then the other bait I like to throw down there, and I hate to throw it, me and Chris call them stupid sticks.
I hate Senkos.
I hate Senkos too, but they won a lot of money. They work when nothing else is.
I know.
When nothing else is working.
Yes, last tournament, I know, John. You don't have
But I don't put a small hook on it. I mean, that's a pretty good size hook. That's 80-pound test for the weed guard. Now this one's custom built. So I have a buddy who actually ties these. But you can go a smaller hook. It just depends on that body. I just like to go stout. And I throw it on 10 to 12 pound line. You can go heavy. You can go up to 16 pound fluorocarbon, but 10, 12 pound is my most common. And the nice thing about a Senko is a lot of guys, I don't know how you guys throw Senkos, but I move it the entire time. I throw it out, so if I'm covering like a brush line, and so the very back end of St. Clair, if you go around, take a right out of the ramp, you go all the way back, and you go around the other corner, the other point, you come around, and you're just going in big circles, right? Well, there's a deep brush line. Yeah. There's a deep brush line that goes, you know, that starts out with the wood in the very corner. It goes all the way down and you have the overhanging brushes. The overhanging brushes are really not there unless you find a piece of isolated wood. Then they'll be there. But I actually like to throw it. You know, I love to throw around docks. Everybody catches them around docks. I throw them around the log booms, the single log booms. A lot of guys don't fish those. There's always big fish sitting on them. And you know as well as I do, St. Clair's full of 10-inch fish. It's got a million 10-inch fish in it.
That's a big one.
That's a big, that's a monster. But I've caught fish up to 7 pounds in St. Clair. There's some big fish in it. That was not during a spawn. That was in August. And I'm throwing around just single, we call them a log boom, right? Just one single piece of wood.
Yeah.
And it might be 30 feet long, but they're always sitting on the edge. So that's when I use a sticky stick. If they're not going to hit a swim jig, that's when I use a Senko. But what I do with Senko is I move it constantly. I throw it out, let it go to the bottom, but as it goes to the bottom, I'm actually shaking it. I'm shaking it all the way down, and I'm shaking it back up. I'm shaking it down, and I'm shaking it back up. A lot of times I'll leave it just sit on the bottom and shake it. And I just find when guys go through water really, really fast to fish, they actually fish the Senko too fast. I follow right behind guys, especially on 10 mile. This is what I was taught by Chris Carpenter. He's won about 30 grand on 10 mile, just fishing this bait right here. That's all he's ever thrown. Because he fishes it, he's constantly moving it. And I don't mean moving it in a horizontal position. I mean moving it vertically. He's just literally just shaking the crap out of it. That's all he's doing. Shake, 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 shake. And a lot of guys will set the hook. I don't set the hook on any Senko fish. All I do is reel back just like a drop shot. You reel back and you let the rod do all the work. You just let the rod totally let it do like this. So that's the easiest way you can catch a Senko fish from years of experience in throwing that bait. Colors, I don't know, it doesn't seem to make a difference. I've thrown white, I've thrown green pumpkin, 297, 330, which is a purple copper pepper. I will throw white every once in a while when it's a reaction bite. There is some stained water. There is some stained water in that lake, but it's on the other side of the lake where the skiers are. And there's some nice fish over there too. So yeah, I'm giving away some of your.
He's like, yeah, don't overfish in the ski area. Just go fish anywhere.
So do you exclusively wacky rig?
I do.
Good.
I don't Texas rig at all because I catch bigger fish wacky
You
rig.
used to.
I did.
What changed it? The last time I fished with you on Washington, you had a weedless.
That's correct.
$1,600.
That's correct. I changed because for some reason, if you take a certain way you fish and you find that after 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years, you find out you catch more bigger fish a certain way, and that's what I started doing. You're right. I used to Texas rig. I used to do nothing but Texas rig a Senko, and I'm caught a zillion fish Texas rigging. You don't get it hung up as easy as you do wacky. You just don't, because you're right. It never gets hooked up unless you're really throwing in really thick stuff, right? But I noticed that. I'll tell you what made me change. Was I stuck a 9 out of Sawyer on a wacky rig Senko, and I was dead sticking it. You know, that was pre-spawn April, and then I went to Morton, did the same thing, and stuck an 815 wacky rig. I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna start wacky rigging. So then I started throwing potholes wacky rigging, and I consistently caught 4, 5, 6 pound fish wacky rigging. You can catch them Texas rigging, but it doesn't have the action.
It's a different action.
It's a totally different action. Now when we go to 10 mile, which is coming up in August for me, we'll actually Nico rig that. That's a killer presentation because if you slide either a nail weight in it, or you slide an actual weighted Nico style head to it, and it stands straight up.
Cool, actually.
Yeah, but it's doing like this. It's going like this, right? And when it goes to the bottom, and when you twitch it, or move it, or shake it, as I call it, the tail's just doing like this. And it's just a different presentation. And you're wacky rigging that too. So the whole bait's doing like this, but at the top of it is also doing this at the same time. So that's kind of why I changed over. Is I was consistently catching bigger fish, wacky style, than I was on Texas rig. Sure, you're going to get a lot of 2-pounders, and you're going to get occasional 4 or 5. You know, skipping another docks Texas rig, but wacky rig's the way to go.
And
it's easier to hook them because here's the other reason why. My hookup ratio Texas rig was way less than wacky rig. Because they were grabbing the tail.
And it's a lot of plastic too.
It's a lot of plastic. So they were grabbing half the bait. So a lot of times I'd set the hook. That's when I was doing like this, right, with the wacky rig, which is dumb. You know, with a Texas rig, and they're biting it in half. So I'd get half the Cinco.
Then you can fish a Ned rig.
Correct. And you can throw it in a Ned rig. That's all it is. That's all a Ned rig is the Cinco.
Oh yeah, that's what it
Cinco
was.
cut in half.
It didn't have Cinco.
You know, and that's another way. That's another way to use a Cinco is a Ned. That works extremely well on smallmouth. But since St. Clair doesn't have any smallmouth, or lately that I know of, he's got primarily large. But they were biting in half. So that's the other part. And during the spawn, they'll bite in half, even more. They'll just take it off and move it. The wacky rig will take the entire thing. So your hookup ratio is 9 out of 10 versus 6 out of 10. You know, that was the biggest difference. Now, I know you guys flip, and St. Clair does not have a lot of flipping water, or does it? Does it have flipping water?
Yeah,
It does have flipping water.
3 lake.
Yeah,
I'll flip anything.
exactly. You can flip docks, you can flip the logs, you can flip the laydowns, right? You can flip grass. Is there grass still in St. Clair?
I haven't been there in a while.
Is there matted grass in? I haven't fished St. Clair in about 2 years.
I haven't seen matted grass there in a long time.
Yeah,
You get pads still, and you'll still get emergent weeds.
correct. But you get emergent weeds that break off and become a mat.
Yeah.
And that's why I flip. But I mostly punch. You can flip. You can flip all day long there and catch a lot of fish. Look at them hooking everything tonight.
You get good hooks there, Russ.
On my old stuff. But I tell you what, you guys are fishing that wind next weekend?
Next, no, 2 weeks.
29.
29. So
Well, you're fishing in late July. Okay,
yeah,
so
late July.
So here's what I'd recommend. Don't use a jig, use a punching rig. And the reason for go to 1 ounce tungsten, 1 or 1 1/4, and peg it. And the reason why I say this is because you don't just use a punching rig to punch grass or to punch trees or bushes. What do you use a punching rig for? Why is that 1 ounce tungsten weight so important? Because when you're fishing wood, it makes a ton of racket. And I found this out in potholes last year. I've always used a punching rig for what it's specifically used for. Punching grass, punching pads, punching mats. But in potholes, when potholes comes down and you've got brush here, you've got beaver hut, they're not on the beaver hut in the water. They're out here 13 feet on the wood, deep. And the punching rig just excels there. Because the tungsten weight makes a ton of racket inside wood. And they keyed in. Oh, I threw a jig the first time. I threw this jig, was getting my butt smoked by a guy in front of me. And I'm like, it's got to be because you're in the front of the boat. So I was teasing him. He said, no, Baker, it's the punch rig. So I put a punch rig on, one after the other. It's because they were keying in on the tungsten weight. So if I were fishing in St. Clair in late July, I'd go 1 ounce tungsten and peg it. Because you can make a lot of racket. I mean, because you guys know how much deep wood is in St. Clair. That back corner is,
The whole lake is full of.
the whole lake's full of wood, but there's certain parts of that lake that are nothing but wood. And then you've got scattered brush. I don't do really well in the scattered brush. I do really well in the big wood there. I don't know why the scattered, you'll catch a lot of dinks in scattered brush. But the really big wood that's sitting along some of those banks is really, really good. Whether you flip it, now I'd sink over the outside of it, or throw a topwater over the top of those branches, those big branches first. It's the first thing I would do. If you get cloud cover though, the topwater bite works all day long. You can
tell these guys.
What's that?
So they're trying to tell these guys, no matter what month it is.
Well, because a lot of people, I watch guys when I fish Federation or I fish an open tournament, and I'm throwing a
People
top
don't
water.
see it as a tournament bait.
What's that?
People don't see a top water as a tournament bait. It's weird.
No, they don't.
No.
Because what do they think? 90% of the
Blow-ups.
people, the guys I fish against or fish with, throw topwater wind, morning and evening. That's
And they
all
stop,
they do. It's
yeah.
the first hour, and they
Sun comes
stop.
up,
And they stop.
Goes in the box.
It goes in the box. That's a big mistake. Because you can still catch those fish at 10:30, 11 o'clock, 12, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock before your tournament ends. Always keep top water on deck. Spinnerbaits, everybody throws spinnerbaits. I'm not a big spinnerbait deal. Chris is. Chris is a big spinnerbait. That Johnson spinnerbait's phenomenal.
Me too.
It has more vibration. I'll throw that puddles and banks a lot in open water. And I just haven't thrown one at Clair, in St. Clair. I will throw crankbaits. I will throw a square bill.
I went to swapping with those Johnsons one day. This was early this year. And once we finally keyed in that that's what we wanted,
Yeah.
100 plus.
Isn't that crazy?
What color did you use?
We were having doubles by the time one got on no had another on before the other was on.
Well, because a lot of it's a time deal. It's a timing deal, right? So why I talk about timing? This is why timing is so important, right? You can throw a spinnerbait first thing in the morning and crush it, right? And your 2-hour window comes up and you don't touch things. You go to different baits, right? And then you go to a different part of the lake, and then you come back 2 o'clock, middle of the day, and those fish are up shallow because they're up shallow because they're feeding. So you got to take advantage of the window, just like cloud cover. I take advantage of cloud cover a lot, probably more than anybody else does. Last year was a good example. I took a boat out to Banks. I was just there to break it in. A customer called me up and says, "Hey, what are you doing?" I see you're at Banks. I was like, "Oh, I'm out breaking in a boat." He said, "Can I bring my son on board?" I was like, "Sure." So I picked him up. It was clear. It was just like this. And you weren't catching anything. It was really slow. It was good catching on football. It deep, right? And I looked over my left shoulder, and the entire canyon wall was covered in cloud cover. I said, "We got to go there, and we got to go there now." This is at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It was hot. It was like 90 degrees. We ran over there and smoked them on Topwater. I got the biggest smallmouth I ever caught on Banks was over 5 on a damn lobber plug, a bait I can't even get. So they were crushing. We stuck like 60 fish in a 200-yard stretch because the cloud came over that canyon wall, and the fish just moved up and started feeding. They weren't feeding anywhere else, but that where that cloud comes. So I always pay attention to what's going on around me, whether it's wind, whether it's bait fish moving around, whether it's carp movement, like potholes, you have a lot of carp movement, the bass around the carp. Where you see a lot of bluegill. Well, St. Clair is full of bluegill. That's why a square bill works really well there too. I didn't remember crankbait rod, but a square bill, I will throw a square bill, and I'll throw it right in the middle of the jump, and I'll bang and bump every piece of wood in that jump. You'll lose some crankbaits that way. Just
But
make
you can
sure
buy
you
some
get
more in your store.
well. Make sure you have
Is
a
that
good.
why you're telling
make sure
us
you
so
have a good.
well?
No. Make sure you have a good plug knocker to get
Oh, yeah.
your best
And you want to
crankbait
get
out.
the $15 ones too. Remember?
Plug knocker. Maybe a plug knocker. I know, Art, you're pretty good. You're pretty crafty building a plug knocker. So. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, my plug knocker
Big pole
made
over.
yourself over and
Over and over and over. Yeah. Don't hesitate.
Buy a money pole and you'll never use a plug knocker again.
There you go. Or have your guide, like they go in Salto, and just have them dive in and go get it for you.
Oh, really?
That's the other way. But St. Clair is a really neat. St. Clair is probably one of the most unique bodies of water we
I learned how
actually
to bass
have.
fish on St.
A
Clair.
lot of
Catching
guys.
fish this
A
big.
lot of guys do.
Yeah. Texas rig
They
rod.
test baits. I went there one day and I just threw crankbaits. I wanted to know how fish reacted to a certain crankbait. So I tested 2 or 3 crankbaits and I caught a ton of fish on it. They weren't very big. I think the biggest one I got was like 3 pounds. But I got to learn how a square bill worked. Even though I've thrown square bills back in Texas 30 years ago, I wanted to see how they reacted to them up here. Because even though a bass is a bass, they're different from here to the east side to Texas and East Coast. So I threw a square bill. Like I said, topwater, I throw a ton of topwater. You can throw a jerkbait. I'm really good with jerkbaits. I just don't find consistency on a jerkbait in St. Clair for whatever reason. You'd think they'd crush a jerkbait. And they probably, the 10-inchers will. The problem is keeping it away from the 10-inchers.
What's the main forage? in
Trout.
St. Clair?
What's that?
What's the main forage in St. Clair?
Probably bluegill.
Bluegill.
That's why
Bluegill.
top work.
Bluegill.
And it's
I mean, there's trout in there too.
Jerkbait's a
I've never
shad.
thrown a swim bait in
Big
St.
trout
Clair.
in there.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of trout in there.
I've caught 5-pounders on spinnerbaits on that lake.
Yeah. Some big trout.
Trout.
It's probably a better swim bait lake than most people give it credit for. I've just personally never thrown a big swim bait there. I mean, whether you throw a Huddleston, you're looking for 1 big bite or 2 big bites.
Oh, yeah.
You either throw a dual hardcore, you throw the Huddleston, You throw the
That new live target's pretty cool, actually.
the missile. The missile's got a good swim
Missile's
bait.
got a swim bait? I didn't know that.
Missile's got a little swim bait that kind of looks like a what's the reaction innovations one?
Oh, the
Dipper.
The
The
dipper.
skinny dipper.
Yeah.
The skinny dipper is a great swim bait.
You know, they make a big dipper now.
Yeah. Oh, do they really? Yeah, the
It's about
little,
as big around as your
the
thumb.
little 5-inch skinny dipper is a phenomenal swim bait.
Throw them on Alabama rigs.
Yeah, or the Kitec. I throw a lot of Kitecs. The 5-inch
yeah.
Kitec.
The ribbed ones?
The ribbed ones.
Yeah.
They call it the Fat Swing Impact by Kitec.
Yeah,
That's a
Bass Pro
great
has
swim bait.
Bass Pro, the knockoff is pretty nice.
They knock off
Yeah.
everything.
The speed shad.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of guys that have big bites that got a knockoff of it.
Yeah.
Kitec, Lockett's got a Kitec, make copy of it. But that's another good way to do it. The other thing too is going back to the Senko, and a lot of guys don't know this, but add a blade to it. Add a blade to your Senko.
On
That's
the
when
hook?
your Texas rig.
Through the grass.
Not through
like
grass.
on the bottom of the
On
bend?
the bottom of the bend.
Gotcha.
Add a blade to it. A lot of guys don't do that.
Rig it Texas, put it on the tail and go through the grass.
Yeah, or you put it on the hook itself, in the front of the hook, and the blade spins. And then you can Nico rig it on top of it.
Oh, that's an
So,
option.
so it's kind of a neat deal.
Do you
It
ever
falls
wish-
and it just
fish the
flashes
Senko
at the same time.
with the weighted jig hook, like the little finesse hooks and that?
I don't. Now what I will do is throw that Jackal Flick Shake.
Oh.
That's another good bait, right? The Jackal Flick Shake. Is that what you have in your bag?
One or two.
Oh, there you go.
The ones that you didn't have, that I had to have Paul bring from Alabama.
It's
tough to
it's
get.
not. Let me tell you something. Art, I'm gonna tell you this 100 times. I'm gonna tell you once. It's not a color.
I know it's not.
It has nothing to do with the
That's
color.
in
You know what the
your-
color
color's
is?
in your head.
It's
Yeah.
all right here.
Color's
It's
for
not
fishermen.
a color.
Yeah,
I tell the
color's
guys,
for
I gotta have
fishermen.
this color. I gotta have this color. It's like, no, you don't. Here's the color you need.
If you'll lay that worm out by itself
Yeah.
and really look at it, you'll see why it catches fish.
Yeah.
It's just the way it falls.
It's
It's
the way
just the way-
it's molded.
It's the way it's molded. It's also the way it folds.
I pro staff for John.
Oh, there you go. It's the way it falls. The smallmouth and Roosevelt love it. I mean, they eat that bait a lot.
See,
When
now
they'll
they
take a
might-
single,
now
they'll
they
take
might-
that.
see, now they might go buy the stuff that I've been saying,
We've
this
been
is
talking
the kill
about this
go-to
bait
bait,
for
this is the
months.
go-to
Yeah.
kill bait,
Nobody
money bait.
listens.
No one listens, but now they'll listen, I bet.
Well, and the other thing too is you can put that on shaky head.
Yeah. You can do anything you
Or a
want.
Ned rig, right? You put it on a Ned rig head, it stands straight up. I mean, the other bait I throw a lot is the biffle. Is the biffle boat, but I'll use a skullfish on it, where the head's doing like this, right? There's times of the year in potholes they will not take a football head, but they will take the biffle. Because the bait's doing like this.
It's a swing jig.
It's a swing jig.
Yeah.
Yeah, we sell the head for it
Yeah.
and use to attach a
Oh,
hook.
yeah, but I think he's got a
Done.
swing
He's
jig.
got it.
Oh,
He's got it.
Yeah, that's a great way to fish. And all you're doing is crawling. You're not hopping it, you're just barely moving it. Labor Day weekend is what I happened to do. Labor Day weekend is what I was using it for. I couldn't get them on a football head. My buddy Mark calls me and it's like, Baker, get your ass over here to Crab Creek. I'm crushing on a biffle. I'm like, dude, I can't buy a fish today. So he hands me a biffle. First cast, bam, I get a fish. Second cast, bam, I get a fish. Give one to my wife, she's catching fish. Give one to another customer of mine that's 100 yards away. He's catching fish. So, yeah, the swing head, when they don't want a straight movement and they want something moving like this, more of a reaction bite, becomes a definite pattern to work it out. So, but St. Clair's, like I said, St. Clair's a neat lake because you do have 1 million docks and you have wood and you have grass, some grass. You got pads, but they're mostly dollar pads. Old docks that have fallen in the water, those are really good. And I think there's still a handful of floating docks on that lake, isn't there? And there's still a handful of floating docks on that lake?
I've been there a couple of years. Last time I went.
It's been I haven't fished St. Clair in like 2 years,
Last
but I
time we
used to
went there,
fish
we
it
couldn't
like
get
once a
it.
month.
Yeah.
It's very consistent.
Down that
The
low.
launch just gets a little crazy.
I mean, you're gonna fish a 2-day event or a 1-day event?
1 day.
You're gonna fish a 1-day. So it's gonna take,
3 days, 3 fish limit.
it's a 3 fish limit.
Yeah. We only got little loads. Well,
So you're gonna win, somebody's gonna win with 9 pounds.
9 pounds. 5
For
pounds
three
big
fish?
fish on that
Maybe
lake.
I'll
Yeah,
have that
5
on the
pounds is a
outside,
big
yeah,
fish on
fish.
that. Like I said, I've got them over 7. My biggest fish is a 7.2
Yeah.
on St. Clair.
Yeah.
And that was in the fall, fall, just throwing a giant. I threw the biggest brush hog they make is like that big. You know, just slowly put an 1/8 ounce weight in front of it, and there's Texas rig in it.
Yeah.
Moving it really slow down a log, and all of a sudden it may just.
We used to go out there and throw Yamamoto grubs on 1/8 ounce Texas rig, and just, we get a ton of little fish, but
Yeah.
once in a while, you get a nice fish on it, you know.
Yeah, I just find the bigger baits catch bigger fish.
That's what I've learned since then.
Sure, you can catch fish, you know, big fish on small baits, but I just find the bigger you go, the less likely you're going to catch an 8 and 10 or 10-inch largemouth.
Yep.
But it's
Puts
pretty
some water on
consistent,
it.
you know, like big crankbait. Don't hesitate to throw a 16-foot DT16 crankbait, or a 6-inch crankbait, or a XD8,
Yeah.
or an X10.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work to throw a big crankbait like that, but those bigger largemouth sit in deep water than the ones that sit in 4 to 5, 6 feet.
Yeah.
It's sort of bigger.
And most people don't throw those big
Yeah.
baits because they don't think they can fish
So,
around here.
if you got a 10-inch grub, throw a 10-inch grub. Most people don't have a 10-inch grub. Throw a 7-inch lizard versus a 4-inch lizard. I don't Carolina rig there. Because when you Carolina rig, you get a lot of small fish. But the bigger the better. If you got a 7-inch Cinco, we saw a lot of 7-inch Cincos.
Yep. I got some.
There was 7
Like
inch
a Cuban cigar.
Yeah, they're huge.
Yep.
They're absolutely huge.
I've got some 12-inch.
Are you really? I've never seen a 12-inch Cinco.
I've seen the 7s, the biggest
Last
I've ever
time
seen.
I was down in
Yeah.
Texas, a guy gave me a bag of them. I don't know if they're custom or what. He just put them in
I
the
have a
bag.
bunch of 10-inch magnets.
12-inch Cinco. Yeah, I thought
From
7-inch.
wooden spoon.
7's big,
A
man.
7-inch, a
When
7-inch
they
Cinco.
fall, though,
You know, it's like this, but
the action
it's like
of
that
that
big
7
around.
is
You
like-
hook it up,
The action when it
it's like,
falls at 7
It's like this.
Oh, it's incredible.
Yeah. And a
Strike
lot of
team
people
makes
don't,
the
a lot of people
Ocho.
don't realize that, you know.
The Ocho's 8, 9 inch. You can get 9, 10 inch Ocho's.
Oh, you get a really long Ocho? You said a lot of people don't throw the Ocho. I love the Ocho. I
good
catch the
bait.
snot out of fish on
Strike
Ocho.
team makes good bait.
Absolutely.
I think striking overall makes the best product out there. That's what we
Overall,
carry.
yeah.
That's
Hard
what we
bait and
carry.
soft bait together, yeah.
That's why we carry
You
ton.
got the Terminator?
The frog, the walking frog, he's looking for a walking frog.
We got a special frog on order. We just haven't seen him yet. That's probably the frog.
Coming cross country, I stopped 2 Bass Pros, 2 Cabela's, and they didn't have them.
Because you've seen the new Lunker frog, right? Yeah, that's coming out. That'll sell.
I want a frog that I can walk without moving.
That one.
That coppers too.
That's pro frog will walk without moving.
Oh, that coppers.
Without
back.
going forward.
Yeah.
That frog, if you cut the
Yeah.
legs off of that frog to this long,
You spin it?
It is sit there,
that
man.
frog will go all the way like this.
Yeah, 180.
Oh, absolutely. It'll do a 180. It's got to be really good at doing it. I mean, you literally, it'll sit in place.
Takes practice.
It takes practice. I couldn't do it the first time I watched Chris do it. He's like, "Baby, it's really easy to do."
And then you
Pull
hit
it
him with
bombed
this.
out. Just cut your legs off a little further, which I did, and he literally goes like this.
I've actually watched a guy walk one around a pole.
Yeah. Isn't it cool? I'm not that good yet.
No,
I'm not anywhere near that.
I was quite impressed though.
Well, it's just like a 110 vision.
Even though he didn't catch fish, it's still impressive.
It's like a 110 vision. You throw a 110 vision.
Oh, yeah.
You know, a 110 vision will back up, and a 110 vision will do a 180.
So will,
It'll do a 180 easier than you can do a point.
That's how they get bit.
So will an
Yeah,
X-Wrap.
they just have
Because
so
it turns
much.
around and looks at the fish that's
Right.
following it.
Yeah, X-Wrap does the
I love
same
that.
thing.
I love that jerk.
And it's cheaper.
Yeah,
Call it
and
X-Wrap?
And it breaks the first time you hit the
It's
dock.
cheaper.
Well, don't
But
throw it on the back.
it'll flip
It's
it to
cheaper,
a
but I will
180.
guarantee you, him and I
John,
will
you need
kick
to
your
practice
butt
casting.
with a 110 vision all day long.
I'll
I'll
take,
catch 10
Oh,
times
I've
more
got,
fish.
I got a couple.
I'll take a jackal squirrel over a vision.
Were you really? See, I don't catch squat on the squirrel. Or the squad minnow. I don't catch anything on
I
that
got a
either.
squad minnow, that's not bad.
Squirrel's
okay.
a hard bait to master, but once you got it
Yeah.
down, I'm fishing it on 4-pound test,
So light stuff.
but I'm fishing the 79.
Oh, small one.
Well, it goes deep.
Yeah. Well,
got
the
to
lighter
be
the
big.
line you go, lighter the line
I'm
you go.
fishing it on 4-pound in 40-degree water.
Right.
Says the guy from
The o-
Alabama.
the only-
deep for 7 feet.
The only reason they're zeroed in on that is shad.
Yeah.
That's it. You find the shad,
Because the only shad we got is a river.
right?
Yeah.
That's why I asked what was on St. Clair's main.
Yeah.
That's why.
It's
certain
really
baits
it's
respond how
bluegill,
they do.
trout, and crawfish. Those three things, and baby ducks. They do eat baby ducks and
Oh, yes.
but bluegill, crawfish, and rainbow trout. And that's why I said a HUD wouldn't be a bad idea. I just don't have the patience on St. Clair to fish out. I will throw the skinny jig though, or I'll throw the KGM $4.75. The TW swimmer, that works
Those are
too.
great.
That's a
Still
great.
carry those, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still carrying
How many
Ken's
people
bait?
do?
Hmm?
You still carry Ken's baits?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Ken's got
sell
some great
probably
baits.
1,000 of those a year.
I got some of his
You
King
know,
Cross.
they work really well. They're an ugly bait, but they work.
Believe it or not, I've thrown that sucker on Gunnersville's ledges, and they won't bite the damn thing.
They won't
They
touch
will
it.
not bite.
I love that King Cross
Really?
Junior and the Washington Cross.
Will not bite it.
That bluish.
They won't bite it.
Gunnersville on when they're on the ledge,
Yeah.
like about this time of year.
Yeah.
I throw that on a 1-ounce football head, they will
They
not
won't,
bite it.
they won't touch it.
They will not touch it.
That's weird.
But I can turn around and I can throw a 5/16 finesse jig
Yeah.
with a zoom
And-
trail,
and
and
catch it. And they'll
they'll
eat
be
it.
all over it.
It's too big.
It's kind of crazy.
Too.
I bet,
Yeah.
you know, but it's not uncommon to pull 5+ off ledges over there. You
That-
get in one
that's-
stretch,
that's
there's one
true.
stretch right outside of Goose Pond that's as long as that wall.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you, at any given time during the summer, there's 40 pounds bass sitting on it.
Yeah, I mean, you guys can drop shot Clair, St. Clair
Yeah.
too. Catch a lot of them on drop shot. 4-inch stuff, I'm not a big
Oh,
drop
4-inch
shot.
fish,
I'll say
but
this,
you're gonna catch.
I hate drop shotting, but I've won 2 tournaments on largemouth drop shot. It does work.
I
You
flip
can't
shot.
find them in anything else. Throw a swim bait and chunk for the fences, or throw a drop shot.
Yeah.
And as we all know, we can drop shot anything. You drop
Yeah.
7-inch worm,
Flip
rubber
shot.
worm, you can drop 6-inch Cincos. I mean, it doesn't make a difference. You throw anything on a drop shot. And you can do a double because you're legal, right?
Yeah.
You can put 2 of them up there. Or you can put one
Most
on the
people
bottom
don't
and
think
one on
about
top.
that one.
Yeah, a lot of people don't think about it. You
I
can
used
also
to do the
pitch.
drop shot with the jig for the weight.
That's
Now
what I've
you
been
get
doing
away
is
sick.
dropping out.
Correct.
Now you get away sick.
Any other questions about St. Clair? You guys know it probably better than I do. It sounds like you do.
What's a good way to get them up under the grass mats?
Yeah.
When
Very
they're garden
carefully.
fry.
So, what's a good way to get them out of grass mats?
Yeah, I was fishing there the other weekend and I could see fry everywhere, but I only got one hit. It was a big old fish. but-
So, did you punch it all?
Well, I mean, they're like really thick. Like, I don't know if you can punch it. They're like the
You get a heavy enough weight, you can-
You got a 1, you get either 1, 1 1/4, or 2 ounce weight punch. It depends on how thick it is, right?
I mean, it's pretty thick. Like it looks
Is there
like-
any holes in it?
Not really.
So it's,
It's just like a
it's
bunch of-
matted from here down.
It's like a bunch of floating islands.
I can't see it going all the way to the
Oh, so you're talking about
They're floating.
flotsam. Flotsam's a different animal. Cause it's thick. It's like that. You'll never get anything through that.
Right.
Oh,
But
it's
you'll be able to fish the edge of it.
Yeah, I was doing that the other day with a jig, and I didn't even feel him hit it. And I just started reeling in, and it was on there, and then I was like,
So what pound test do you use? A brake?
yeah, it was like 30 or 40, but my rod was too stiff. And when I seen the fish, I
Keep going. You need to go 60, 65.
Yeah, put 80 on there.
Yeah. 60, 65. I mean, you can get away with 20 pound braid, but it can't be really thick.
Yeah.
You need a broomstick to get them out, because you're gonna get the grass and everything else.
Oh no, I had a big heavy action rod. The problem was my line was too light at first. When I seen him, I didn't know it was on there. And I
Yeah.
panicked. and just-
Yeah, a lot of times those fish don't necessarily thump it. I notice fish in thick grass don't really thump it. They actually just pick it up and walk off.
But the thing was, is like that was the only hit that I got there. You know?
In grass.
Yeah, I don't know. I panicked.
Yeah, you never just reel. You can actually just reel and pick it up.
Yeah.
Especially if it's super thick stuff.
Yeah, I never seen a fish that big. I panicked. It was like 5 feet.
Well, you can, it's like, you can punch wood. Now, when I'm talking about wood, I mean brush piles like this. So, Silver Lake's a good example. I won the Federation Championship on Silver Lake 4 years ago, and I put I put my non-boater in the front. I was eating lunch, and I said, go sit on that beaver hut and just vertically drop in it with something heavy, But if it's open like this, in the late summer, they want it light. They don't want something falling right on top of them like they do in the spring where it's more of a reaction bait. They really want it just kind of going, fingering through these brush piles and go to the bottom and just leave it go to the bottom, shake it on, just pick it up. If there's any weight on it, it's a fish, right? So I put him right on top of the beaver hut, He cast it 5 or 6 times. I said, okay, there's enough on home. Go around the front side of it. He put me around the big rod, and I stuck 4 4-pounders and 4 consecutive drops. But they weren't the thump. Every one of them were a sponge bite. So every one of them were just literally just. I picked it off of the bottom and there was weight.
Yep.
They weren't thunk. I don't think he was feeling the bites.
Yeah.
But sometimes late summer, it's not a heavy deal. It's a 1/4 ounce or 5/16. It's a light deal. Now, if you're punching a heavy match, though, it's a 2 ounce weight. If you can't get through it with 1 ounce and you can't get through a 2 ounce, you're not going to get through it.
Yeah.
It's that thick. But majority of times in most of these lakes, the stuff on top is only about that thick. Unless you go to silver and you've got flotsam is kind of a growth of multiple things. It's an algae bloom deal. It's also grass. It could be chickweed, or it could be coontail. It could be any of those. If they're all intermingled, and it's just super thick. So it makes it a little bit of a challenge. The other way I do it is punch it, work the side with a Cinco, bring a spinnerbait by, like the Johnson spinnerbait he's talking about. Has a ton of vibration. They will actually pull out from that and hit it, or a Cinco.
Yeah, I couldn't get them to hit anything. I only got that one bite. There's fry everywhere, so I can imagine there's fish.
Yeah. St. Clair's got a lot of big fish in it. I mean, that nobody catches them.
But how do you? What's a good way to go after them garden fry?
For what now? For garden fry?
You're like frying a bunch of fry.
Oh, garden fry is multitudes of baits. So it depends on the depth of the water for one, and what covers around it for two. If it's open water, it's a spinnerbait. If they don't take a spinnerbait, which is really, really, really rare, right? I may throw what they call a spy bait. I may throw that. It's the stupidest bait in the world, but it catches a lot of fish. Because it has a sinking, slow sinking. I will throw that.
Prop bait with a hole in it, basically.
Yeah, it's a prop bait. It's only about that long.
Taking water on it and then
But it just goes like this, and it has a really slow fall.
Never, did y'all go
That's
on
another way to do
They
it.
just continue with that.
I think I've covered everything. Have I covered everything?
Yeah, all I know is that fish is cold.
Okay, I'll eat my fish. Thanks, guys, for having me.
Thank you,
Yep.
bud.
Appreciate it. The nice thing about the cold fish, you can eat it cold. It's still good.
Thanks for telling everyone our secret.